Welcome, Tug Addicts. Kind of rushed tonight. I just got in a little while ago. Had the grandkids. Remember, I always tell y'all to take the kids fishing. Well, we had the grandkids with us this afternoon fishing and try to get out and do a little bit. The weather was beautiful. Just pitching some artificial. Thought we might have some fish for supper. We were lucky enough to get 5 nice keepers, and we had one throwback. And let me show you this. My wife got hung up. Look at this nest here, would you? She hung up, pulled this thing off the bottom, and this is what she pulled up. This line is talking about Ben Berry and monofilament and all. This was a monofilament, not a fluorocarbon, Ben, and this is what we pulled out. This guy didn't have any action at all with that lure as heavy as he was throwing. That was a definitely known as a bird's nest there. Ben also asked me about the snaps versus the little loop dots and all. I prefer to tie directly to the line, but if I go out and I'm bringing one rod and I don't want to cut and tie, I'll put a snap on it. And I came across a snap I've used a long time ago. I found some the other day in Bass Pro. I'll show them to you tomorrow night. I don't have them in front of me right now to show you how you can put them off and on very easily, and it allows the lure to have a natural action, especially when you're throwing screw tails or rubber baits or something. You want that little wiggle. Now, when I'm doing my hard plastics like X-Wraps and those kind of things, even when I'm throwing top waters, I prefer to tie directly to it. I don't like that loop knot. I don't know why. It just something about the play in it I'm not happy with. The people that do it, all well and good, but I'm not a fan of it, man. Let's see what else I've got. And we were talking too about the mono. I've been using a 20 pound fluorocarbon. I mean, a 15 pound fluorocarbon the last week or two. And it just seems like the bait's giving me a little better movement in the water. It's not as stiff and tight. And I did something this afternoon. You know, my buddy's always saying, "You trying to Russorize everything." I'm kind of always fooling with a lure and thinking I can make it better and all. And I came across some old rattles, and I don't have the lure with me here in front of my computer here at the desk, but I'll have it tomorrow night, and I'm going to show you what I did. And instead of inserting it parallel, I inserted it horizontal in the bait. And I'll show you what I did. And I don't know, it seemed to work. My wife is very competitive on the water. We used to have abacus beads on the top of our boat. We slid them back and forth to see who caught the most. And then not enough sense, I'd take off and all the beads would go together. So we'd say, "Oh, no, you caught this, you caught that." So now I have a clicker, and we click how many fish we catch. But tonight, I just happened to be hot, and they were hitting that bait. And whether it was because it was a little larger bait, and the trout in the wintertime want bigger bait to sustain them longer, or whether it was that rattle the way I put in it, I don't know. And I was the electric chicken I was using was designed to go on a worm hook, not a regular straight jig head. So I'll show you those things tomorrow night on the blog. Let's see what else we got to go over here. Oh, head color, the color of the heads. I've never thought much of it. I've watched these guys who walk and wade in Texas, and they got a lot of shell-type bottoms and rough bottoms, and their jig heads don't even have any paint on them. And I bought one time on a closeout some H&H jig heads, didn't have any paint on them at all. And I don't see any difference in the fish hitting it, not hitting it. I just happened to have them at my place at the coast, and I had to buy some that were painted, and we actually gave some to my wife for a Christmas gift. One good thing, I can buy fishing equipment, and kind of like that saying I told you today, money can't buy happiness, but it can buy fishing equipment, and that's the next best thing. This year, we talked about, especially me when I'm going out now, be 73 in February, and don't want to be out there and alone and fall off the airboat or my other boat and hit my head or whatever. And so I wanted to get some of those life jackets that are very thin and they self-inflate, or you can pull them yourself just for safety. And it seems like it seems like every time we'll do something like that, I mentioned to my wife, I end up buying two for Christmas, one for her, one for me. I open a Christmas gift from her to me, and it was one. So now we have three. So now we'll have to haul any back and forth from Keaton. Last night we posted, for y'all who may not have seen it, we posted about a trip that we made to Delacroix, Louisiana with Captain Norm back in Thanksgiving week. We fished down with him a couple of days, and then we went and fished at Keaton Beach for a few days. So if you guys hadn't seen it, look it up. It's I don't know what the title was, and I think it's just fishing, Captain Vincent Russo fishing at Delacroix, Louisiana. So it turned out to be a really nice little video clip. We don't go out thinking about taking cameras and filming all our trips like that, which we hope to start doing because people are asking about it. But we definitely want to try to do that in the future. I want to see how to work a GoPro and maybe put it up where we can show them catching some fish. Today I was going over some old video on my computer. My buddy Bob, I don't know if y'all have heard me talk about him before, but he and I used to fish down there all the time, and he passed away a few years ago. And I really do miss the old guy. We were like the grumpy old men when we were out there fishing, but ready to go back the next week. He loved to go down there and throw those artificial for those big trout in the wintertime. Let's see what else I got here. Oh, I tell you something that really got to me today. And this guy's done this twice, and he's a guide. And I hadn't called him out on it yet, but we were working this bank. He knew we were. I was right. This didn't stop and put the power pole down. And I'll be damned if he didn't come right behind us and drop the anchor. And we went on down, and I talked loud enough so he could hear me, and I called him a dumbass. My wife said, yeah, I said, I know he's a dumbass. And he's done this twice. And he didn't catch but two little old trout, and they didn't catch anything. And I kind of encroached on him then, and he finally picked up and left. But I just can't stand people that just pull up on a drop, and they'll get right beside you. My buddy Walker just came in a few minutes ago, and I was rushed. I cleaned the fish and was eating supper, one thing and another. And I told him about it. And he said the general rule for that is you stay far enough away from the other person that if he was throwing and you were throwing, your two lines wouldn't touch, which I think could be a good rule. But this guy twice has pulled up next to me and dropped an anchor. Very inconsiderate. It's kind of like the people that don't go to idle speed when they pass you too. They go down, and instead of going to idle, they'll either bog down, and they don't realize that's pushing out more weight than if they just haul ass down the river. I guess I'm getting a 73-year-old to be curmudgeon. It really upsets me to see people not consider it. And another thing too is this Freedom Boat Club. I believe if you got a boat and you renting it, especially this Freedom Boat Club that these people are in, they have to have a course that they take and be in a boat. Don't just take a test and I understand these kids take a test now online and get it at 14 years old to operate a boat by themselves. I don't know. I think they should be in the boat with someone and then go over rules of what to do and not to do. Those Freedom Boat people, they don't have a clue how to operate a boat. Let's see what else we got to go over here. In that piece that I just told you about that we posted last night about fishing in Delacroix, Monica's the only thing we took to really take some pictures was her catching this big red. And what was so cool about it was I told Norm, I said, Captain Norm, I said, I'm going to put Monica on a big red. Can we do that? And he pulled up this spot, and it was about a 30-yard cast with a popping cork. And this pocket that she put it in was about 4 or 5 feet up in this curve. And she just laid it right in there in the wind. And he looked at me like, boy. And I said, no, she does that all the time. And it didn't sit there but a few seconds, and up she came with this big red. And one of the things that I really enjoyed watching was how she played the fish. And she had 10-pound braid. What? Oh, she's letting me know in the other room. She's listening to me. 15-pound Power Pro braid, and with a monofilament leader with a popping cork, and she's only using a 2500 reel. and most people feel like you got to have 3,000, 4,000 reels and all. I enjoy the tug. I like playing the fish, especially when I really enjoy catching big trout more than I do reds, because that soft mouth, you got to play them and take them easy and bring them to the boat. And that to me is just a lot more sportsmanship to it. Let's see what else. Snaps I talked about. Let's see. I don't know of any other comments we had. I think that's about all we can go over right now. Didn't have a whole lot of time to prep since I was cleaning fish at the last minute and just got through actually eating them. Here's a little nostalgia tip tonight that we went on. When being sent to the principal's office was nothing compared to the fate that awaited the student at home. Well, I tell you, that's so true. I don't know. Nowadays, it's time out. Yeah, time out. I don't know. Let's see. All right. Don't forget now, guys, to give us a thumbs up, hit the bell, subscribe. Don't forget to go to our website, check out our tools of the trade, and go over our influencer page or anything I may talk about that you want to look at. And if I have it on there, I believe in it 110%. And please leave some questions and comments for us to have things to talk about the next day. Let's see, as things comes in, as I'm talking, y'all's comments usually come in a little later. I just got one here from Ben Barry. Good evening, Captain. Great video, fishing sportsman paradise. Let's see who else here. Craig Fitzgerald. Thanks. Thumbs up. Yeah, I had somebody comment the other day. I don't know who it was. He said, Captain Vince Russo is a legend. Yeah, I'm a legend in my own mind. All right, guys. Don't forget, please leave the question in the comments. And don't forget to take a kid fishing. We took the grandkids fishing this afternoon. They didn't catch anything, but they at least got out and got some fresh air, enjoyed what they were out in the boat. And actually, the smallest one, Harper, she ended up doing the netting, and she was just exciting about that and watching the fish swim around a live well. And she was probably catching one. Also, you can't catch them on the couch. And so y'all have a good evening. Got another one in. Monica, this is Monica Russo. This is Harper. Thanks for taking me fishing. All right, guys. Y'all have a good evening. Tug Addict saying tight lines to you. Don't forget, if you can't catch them on the couch, like I said again, and we'll see you tomorrow night. And I'm going to have that lure I showed you and what I did. And I don't know. It may or may not work, but we'll try it some more and see if it ends up, making a difference. Thanks again, guys. Have a good evening.